Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Hockey Demo Weekend on the channel. After our demo game of Inside the Crease Hockey, we're going for the demo game for the other half of my 2009-10 season replay, as we're playing the demo game for Strat-O-Matic Hockey. This is a little bit different, and you may be noticing some new changes, where the layout looks a little bit more like my Inside the Crease layout, only instead of using the business card holders, I've actually cut up some actual currency pages similar to what I had for APA Hockey, where I used regular card pages. So I've got one line, and then I'll flip it to the other. And I've also got the main strat board out, just so I know which opponent is which. So I've got the Blackhawks, of course, on this side, and the Flyers on this side, as we will be running a matchup of the real-life 2009-10 Stanley Cup Final between the Philadelphia Flyers and the Chicago Blackhawks, which the Blackhawks, of course, won that series 4-2 in Game 6. So that's what we're getting up to here. And Strat's actually a good one, because what I can do here is I'll be able to play it all the way through, but I can split the game in 3 periods. So what I'll do is the first period I'll play on the beginner game as a demo. Then second period we'll play advanced at a slower. Both of those first 2 periods will be at slower paces. Then for the third period I'm going to play advanced, and I'm going to play at replay tempo. For replay tempo, what I mean by that is the tempo I'll actually play at during the aforementioned replay. Now I've already built the action deck for the first period, but I will show you how that's built during the intermission when I go to set everything up. So, with that being said, let's jump into our face-off. First up, we will take a look at both of our centers. In this case, Mike Richards is our center. He's got a face-off of +1. Coming over to Chicago, we look at Jonathan Toews as our face-off man. He has got a +3 on the face-off. So that's going to net out to a +2 advantage to Chicago, which for advanced, that will bring us to the basic face-off chart here, where I'll get a split number out of the split deck. We'll see a 4. As we go to the face-off chart, actually we don't pay attention to that at all. So in this case, that will be a home win going to the right defenseman. So in this case, that'll be going over to Brent Seabrook for the Blackhawks, and we're off and running. So we'll pull an action card from the action deck, and we'll consult the home half of the card. So as we see, in this case, Seabrook is losing the puck, and it's an outside shot for the left defenseman. So that'll be Matt Carl getting an outside shot. So what we'll do is we'll roll 2d6 on Carl's outside column. So we've got my dice over here. Tower is in shot. The roll there is a 2. What that means is on a 2, on an outside shot, that is a goal 1-9. So what'll happen here is we'll pull another split card, and if the number at the top is a 1-9, then we have a goal, and Carl's scored to put the Flyers on the board first. That is a 15, so that is a save, and that'll be a face-off. That'll come to the left of Niemi. So now we'll get another face-off, which means we'll consult the split number on the top of the split card deck. That's an 8, so coming back to our face-off chart, that's another home win for the right defenseman. So that's right back over to Seabrook on a huge face-off win for the Blackhawks, and we're off and running once again. Home, this time we consult opponent defense 13. In this case, for the right defenseman, we consult the left defenseman, that's Carl. So opponent defense 13, that will be Carl taking away the puck. So that means, just like it sounds, we have a turnover and Carl has taken away the puck. So now on the action deck, which the action deck also acts as the clock, we will now consult the visitor section. So we check the opposing defense rating. In this case, that is for Seabrook. So 𝐕𝐢𝐝𝐞𝐸's defensive player penalty rating is a D. So since he's a C or a D, 𝐕𝐲𝐵ROOK will take away the puck, and he will have an outside shot. So we'll roll just like we did for Carl on an outside shot. In this case, that's a 3. What we see on a 3 on an outside shot is an XDC. What that means is that the goalie, Michael Leighton, has made the save, and that goes over to the defensive center, so that's over to Mike Richards. And now we'll pull another card from the action deck. Looking at the visitor, lose the puck, outside shot for the left defenseman. So this time, that'll be going over to Duncan Keith, and he'll have an outside shot. In this case, we roll a 7. And what we see here on a 7 for Keith on an outside shot is an XDRD. What that means is that's a save, and it's going over to the defensive right defenseman. So that'll be Pronger getting that puck. Then we'll flip over another card. Looking at the visitor opposing defense 14. That's Keith on a 14. Keith will take away the puck. Coming over to the action deck once again, we see home, we're looking at passing J. So looking at Keith on passing J, we scroll down and we see inside shot for LW. So he's made a great pass, and now Troy Brouwer is going to have an inside shot. So we're going to consult, so we're going to roll the 2d6, and we'll consult the inside column for Brouwer. So we've got our 2d6 here. We see an 11. And on an inside shot for an 11, we see goalie rating. So what that sends us over to Michael Leighton's card, who's the goalie. We see the results of all the 2d12 rolls. So in this case, for Leighton, our bad numbers are 7, 9, and 11. But 11's still got a chance of being a bad number. So we will roll the 2d6 and see what we get here. So this is a shot on Leighton. It's on net. We see a 4, which on a 4 we see face-off. So that means the puck gets deflected out of play, and we have a face-off, which will bring everything back. So I'll have a face-off to the left of Leighton. Then we'll draw another split card, get our face-off result. That's a 20, which is almost certainly be an away win. Yep, that'll be visitor right defenseman winning that draw. So that will be Pronger picking that up, and we're off once again. Visitor section, he'll lose the puck, outside shot for the right defenseman. So that's over to 𝐕𝐲𝐵ROOK with an outside shot. I'm assuming it's just, I think he could probably try to penetrate theoretically, but he's not going to penetrate. He will roll, get a 7, and 𝐕𝐲𝐵ROOK will have an XDC. So that'll be a save made by 𝐕𝐲𝐵ROOK, and over to Richards as the defensive center. Our next action card is looking at opponent defense 13. In this case, Richards is looking at the opposing center. That's Toews. On a 13, Toews will take away the puck. So Toews with it now for the Blackhawks. Looking at the home section, lose the puck, outside shot for the opponent. Toews will lose the puck, and he'll have an out, and Richards will have an outside shot. That's a 6, which is a save, and over to the defensive right wing. So that'll be Kane with that save. Then we'll draw a card here. Looking at opponent defense 13. Right wing is opposed by the left wing, so Gagne's defense 13. That'll be an outside shot. So Kane with an outside shot, he will take that. A 9, that's a goalie rating. That's back over to Leighton, so that's another shot on net. Once again, 7, 9, and 11 are your potential bad numbers. We see a 5, and we see on Leighton's card, a 5 is a save and any forward. So he'll give that over to any forward. He'll give that over to Richards, except we've pulled our first forwards line change card, so we're going to have to change out our forward lines. Which, with these currency pages that I'm using, is as easy as flipping over the currency pages. So now it's Jeff Carter with the puck for the Flyers. And our next action for Carter is we're looking at passing J. So Carter passing J is going to be an inside shot for the right wing. So in this case, that's over to Briere. And we will have an inside shot for Briere. A 9. That's a 9 on an inside shot. That's a goalie rating on Niemi. So 8, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers if you're Niemi. And that is a 9, which as we see is a goal, which means Briere has managed to score the first goal of the game and give the Flyers a 1-0 lead. Stadium groans. Ugh. Just tracking the notes here. Briere, and then we'll flip over to split cards to see if we can find assists. What we're looking for here is on the assist. Any player with a 6. So what we're looking for here is the assist rating on all of our players is this number right here. So in this case, any player with a 6, no. Left wing 3. Hartnell does have a 3, so he will get an assist. Actually, that was from Carter. So that's going to be, we'll call that Hartnell and Carter. And the Flyers now have a 1-0 lead, which will bring everybody back to center ice, and it's time for another face-off. So our face-off now is a 6, and a 6 on the basic face-off is home right wing. So that will be Hossa with that for the Blackhawks, and we're off into the action deck once again. Looking at an outside shot for the left wing. Could try to penetrate against the right wing. So that'll be over to... Actually, let me double check what that means. Outside shot for LW with RW in parentheses. That's either... I believe that's who he would be penetrating against. Let me look here. Occurs on an unrestricted outside shot. Okay. So that's probably who would... So actually, Versteeg is going to try to penetrate. His penetration rating is a 4. So we'll go to the split deck for that. On a 1-13, Versteeg will successfully penetrate and get an inside shot. On a 14-20, he will lose that to... He'll lose that over to Briere. So we'll go to the split deck. And once again, that's a 1-13. That's a 19. He will not penetrate. So he'll lose that puck to Briere. Flipping over our next action card with Briere in control. Visitors is going to lose the puck outside shot for the center. So that'll be Sharp, who will have an outside shot. And he's going to take that, trying to tie this game for the Blackhawks. That's a 9 on an outside shot. That's a goalie rating on Layton. Once again, 7, 9, and 11 are bad numbers. And I should mention, by the way, if you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in chat. But Strat is very straightforward. If you do have questions, I'll try to answer them as best I can during stoppages. So anyway, we've got a goalie rating on Layton. That's a 3, and that's a rebound chance, which is also off the split deck card. So our rebound play is the offensive right wing. So Hossa has actually got that with a rebound shot. So we're consulting... So now with the rebound shot, we're consulting the middle column. And as you can see, the middle column is usually very good. A lot of ways for that puck to end up in the back of the net. So let's see what our result is from Hossa on a rebound shot. That's a 10 on a rebound shot. That's another goalie rating on Layton. That's a 5, and that's a save by Layton over to any forward. He'll give that over to Briere. Briere with the puck for the Flyers. And checking the opposing defensive player's penalty rating. So the opposing player to the left is Versteeg, which means we've got a 2-minute penalty. So now we'll get to see how penalties work in the basic game. So in the basic game, we will first flip over 2 cards from the action deck. We'll also have a defensive line change. So I'll take care of the 2 cards. We'll change out the defensemen. We'll change out the defenseman pairings for both teams. Then we'll go to the power play chart once again, and we'll get a split card. Get a split number of a 2. Then on the advanced power play chart, in this case for a 2, we're checking the left defenseman. We're checking his defensive rating. Hjalmarsson's defensive rating is a 3, so we consult the power play shots to be taken. So first we've got an outside shot for the right wing. That is Briere. And one special thing that I want to talk about before I roll the shot for Briere. So one thing you may have seen is there's a plus sign next to some of these results. What that entails is if the team is on the power play. In this case, the Flyers are on the power play, so anything with a plus sign like this goal 1 to 4, or on the 3, or a goalie rating on 12, those would apply since the Flyers are on the power play here. So we'll roll those up. We've got an outside shot. That's a 10. That's a save and over to the defensive center. But we resolve the second shot of the power play, which is an inside shot for the left wing. So that's an inside shot over to Hartnell. Hartnell's going to let this one fly. That's a 6 on an inside shot, and that's a goalie rating on Niemi. 8, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. That's a 6. That would be a save and over to either defenseman, which in this case we will actually bring everybody to the right of Niemi, and we will have a face-off. So that was a penalty on Versteeg. We'll call that holding because why not? Okay, so now we've got another face-off coming. This one to the left of Niemi. And a 14 on a face-off. That is a visitor right wing. So that's won by the Flyers. Back over to Briere, and we're off again into the action deck. Visitors lose the puck. Outside shot for the left wing. That is Versteeg. He will take that outside shot. That's a 10, and that's a goalie rating on Leighton. Once again, 7, 9, and 11 are your potentially bad numbers. That's a 5, though. That's a save and over to any forward. He'll give that over to Carter. And we'll flip over another action card. Inside shot for any player for the visitors. He will take that himself because he's any player. So Carter's going to let this inside shot go. He gets a great... He manages to knife through the ice, get into the slot. A 6 is a goalie rating on Niemi. Once again, 8, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. That's an 8, and that's going to be in. Carter puts the Flyers up 2-0. And then we'll flip over split cards again to try to find assists. Any player 8, no. Carter scored. Right wing 1. Briere will have an assist. And left defense. Okay, any player 8, no. Left defenseman 4, yes. Timonen will have the other assist. As the Flyers now lead this one 2-0. And we'll bring everybody back to center ice for the next face-off. Split card is a 15. That sounds like another visitor win. And it will be. That'll be over to the visiting left defenseman. So that is over to Timonen, and we're off once again. Going back to the action deck. Looking at passing L for Timonen. Passing L is an inside shot for the right wing. There's also a notation for great pass on there, but we're not worrying about that right now. So right now we've got an inside shot for Briere. That's a 10 on Briere's inside shot. That's a save and over to the defensive right defenseman. That's Campbell with it now for the Blackhawks. Flipping over our next card, looking at home, inside shot for any player. Campbell is going to give that to... Inside shot for anybody. He's going to give that to Hossa. So Hossa is going to roll for an inside shot. That's a 7 on an inside shot, and that's a goalie rating on Leighton. Once again, 7, 9, and 11 are bad numbers. So Hossa got a pass to the slot, and now he lets it fly. And that's a 7, and that is a goal. So Hossa will get the Blackhawks on the board in the waning stages, well, not quite the waning stages of the first period, but that's a much-needed tally for the Blackhawks. So Hossa puts the first one in for the Blackhawks. That'll be from Campbell. Since, again, I can trace the sequence of events in the game and our split card here. Any player with a 6? No. Center with a 4? Yes. That'll be Hossa from Campbell and Sharp. As the Blackhawks have now cut the score to 2-1. And before we get the face-off, we have our last forwards line change of the period. So we'll change out our forward lines once again. You guys can feel free to weigh in and chat and or the comments down below to let me know which layout you guys like better. Whether you think the flat layout of the currency sheets or you like the business card holders better. Because I definitely want to get that nailed down before I get into this replay, which is starting in July. Little over a week now, hard to believe already. So now we're going to the split deck once again to get another face-off. We see a 2, that'll almost certainly be a home win. That'll be a right wing win, so that'll be over to Byfuglien. And we are off once again on the action deck. So here we find passing K for Byfuglien. Passing K, he's going to lose that puck to the right wing. So that's Asham taking it back for the Flyers. Next card up. Lose the puck, outside shot for the right wing. So that'll go right back over to Byfuglien. Byfuglien will let an outside shot go. Looking to tie this game for the Blackhawks. That's a 5. That'll be a save and over to the defensive right defenseman, over to Coburn. Coburn with it now for the Flyers. Looking at a possible breakaway, which brings us back to the split deck once again. And the breakaway is the center or left wing if the breakaway penetration rating is 4. And Giroux is a 3, so Coburn's going to lose that to the right defenseman. He'll lose that to Campbell. Campbell with it for the Blackhawks is passing L. Passing L is an inside shot for the right wing. So Byfuglien with an inside shot. That's an 8. We see X Reb, so we've got another possible rebound chance. So coming back to the split deck, that's the defensive center rating. Defensive center, if defense rating 3 or more. Giroux is a 2, so that means the opponent will have a rebound shot. So Madden with the rebound shot for the Blackhawks. If I can ever get a hold of the dice. That's a snake eyes. That's a save and over to Asham. Asham with it for the Flyers. We're looking at an outside shot for the right wing. And he would be losing that to the center if he fails to penetrate, which is penetration rating is a 2. So not a great penetration rating. Asham's just going to take the outside shot. That's an 8. That's a save and a rebound chance, though. Rebound is the offensive right defenseman if offense rating 2 or more. Coburn is a 3. Actually, Tiemanen's a 3. I think I got these in backwards, so hold on, I'm going to switch these out. Because normally what should happen is when I flip these to make the line change, the left defenseman should always be on the left side of the currency page. So that was... right, offensive right defenseman. That is Timonen, and he's definitely got enough for a rebound shot. 7 is a goalie rating on Niemi. Once again, 8, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. Which that's a 7, and that's another rebound chance, so right back to the split deck. Rebound is the defensive left defenseman if defense rating 2 or more. Hjalmarsson is a 3, so he will have that rebound. Once I find what on earth I did with the block that I'm using for possession of the puck. This is a little... oh, it's over here. So Hjalmarsson with it now for the Blackhawks. He's got control of the puck. Lose the puck, outside shot for the right wing. So that's Asham with an outside shot. He's going to let that one go. That's a 10. That's a goalie rating on Niemi. 8, 9, and 11 are still bad. Which that's a 9 and score. Asham puts that one in for the Flyers as they now get their 2-goal lead back and take a 3-1 lead. I guess the Flyers weren't monkeying around here. We'll get our assists. Excuse me. Any player 7? No. Center 1? Yes. Giroux will have an assist on that one. And our other assist. Any player 8? No. Right defenseman 3? Yes. That'll be Asham from Giroux and Timonen. As the Flyers now open up a 3-1 lead here, now in the tail stages of the first period. Come on. Trying to open my crystal light in case you're wondering what's going on. Much better. And now everybody comes back to center ice for the next face-off. Next face-off is a 17, which is a visitor left wing win. So that'll go over to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk's got the puck for the Flyers. He's looking at passing Jay, and that'll be an inside shot for the center. So that'll be an inside shot for Giroux. Claude Giroux with the puck for the Flyers. And an inside shot. On a 5, that's a save and over to the defensive right wing. So that is over to Byfuglien. Byfuglien with the puck for the Blackhawks. Lose the puck, outside shot for the right defenseman. So that's over to Timonen with an outside shot. That's a 6. He'll lose that over the defensive right defenseman, over to Campbell. Campbell with the puck now for the Blackhawks. Looking at the opposing defensive player's penalty rating. Looks like no matter what Coburn's rating is, it's going to be a 2-minute penalty. So this will be the end of the period. We'll flip over the last card. And then we'll get our power play. So our power play here is a 7. And on the basic and advanced power play, we check the defensive rating of the left wing. Van Riemsdyk is a 2. So these are the shots we're taking. First, we've got an outside shot for the right wing. So that's Byfuglien. That's a 7. That'd be a save and over to the defensive right defenseman. Then an outside shot for the left wing, Ladd. That's a 5. Save over to the defensive right wing. Then an outside shot for the center. In this case, that's Madden. That's an 11. Saving over to the defensive left defenseman. And finally, an inside shot for the center. So Madden. That's a 6 on an inside shot. Save to the defensive right wing. There's the horn. Again, my lousy goal horn to end the first period. Flyers holding a 3-1 lead here going into the second period of this game. So that's the beginner game for Strat-O-Matic Hockey. We'll give the split deck a quick shuffle here. I'll also flip back over to our starting lines. So now that we're adding the advanced game, now we start paying attention to the number of players on offense and the number of forecheckers each team has. And the way I'm going to do that is whichever one is right side up to the team, that's the side they'll use. So the Flyers are going to be on this side. Everybody, I usually start off with 2 of each. Just default unless I need to open up the board a bit more. And usually it's the more offense you've got, that's the more you want to open things up. And we'll be sensitive to that on the advanced action cards. Which we'll take a look at the advanced action cards before I start to build the deck. I'm just shuffling the split deck here off camera. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little Saturday evening hockey, second half of our double header here at the United Center, as we're getting both of these demo games done, so I can put other stuff on the channel tomorrow. Okay. These are the beginning action cards. These can actually leave the game because we won't be using those again. And now coming over to the advanced action cards. Now you can see we're sensitive to both the number of players on offense and the number of forecheckers we have. So we've got a grid now of 16 possible plays we'll be paying attention to. This power play and shorthanded is only for super advanced, and I don't play super advanced. So we're not going to be worried about that at all in this game. So I'll walk you guys through how we check a result for that when we go through the first play of the second period. But I'm going to give the advanced deck a quick shuffle, since that's what we'll be using in the second period, and actually in the second and third periods of this game. The second period is going to be slower. There's going to be another one at a slow tempo, and the third period we're going to play that at replay tempo. Normally a period of this takes about 20 minutes for me to get through, which is why I'm so warm to playing full games of Strat during an actual replay project. Whereas with Inside the Crease, I know the full game takes longer, so that's why I have ChatGPT come up with my game situations, usually at the start of the third period. I made an exception for the demo game today because I wanted to do one period at a demo pace, at a slower pace, and the second period and the other period at my normal replay pace. So now I'm going to show you how you build the action deck between periods, or for the start of the game. First thing I'm going to do is, after giving it a shuffle, I'm going to count out 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me just check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I wanted to make sure I had enough. Then I'm going to put a forwards line change on top of that. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put my defenseman line change on top of that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My other forwards. And then I should have 10 cards left in the action deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So those are all set to go. And now we pay attention to the face-off ratings in the advanced game as well, which I was starting to do earlier before I realized that in the beginner game, in the basic game, you don't pay attention to that. So as we established earlier, Toews is a +3 face-off, Mike Richards is a +1. So that means when we go to the split cards, when we go to the face-off chart, we'll be coming to the advanced chart, and we'll be consulting +2 in Chicago. We'll be consulting +2 on the split deck. So looking at our face-off now, we see an 11, and on +2, we see sup any player, which means any player with the superior face-off team, we can give that to anybody. In this case, we will give that over to Brouwer, and we will be off here in the second period of this game. So going to the action deck, now let's walk through how we check this. So we look for the home, offense 2, and then 2 forecheckers, looking at opponent defense 3. In this case, that is the right wing. Carcillo looking at his defense 3. That'll be an inside shot for the right wing. So over to Kane, and we see ILD, which means the left defenseman could try to intimidate based on his penalty rating of a D. So his intimidation rating is actually a D. So on a 1 to 15, no penalty. 16 to 20, there would be a 2-minute penalty. So we'll go to the split card, and we'll get a penalty, and we'll get to go to the intimidation section. Intimidation is 8, so Carl will intimidate Kane, and will take the puck away. And now Carl with the puck, looking at offense 2 for the visitors, against 2 forecheckers, looking at passing E. That's an outside shot up to Carcillo. Carcillo will take that outside shot. Actually, Carcillo's not that good on the outside shot. So another option we have is he could try to make a pass. So on the split card, he'll consult the passing, inside shot for the right wing. So Carcillo will have the inside shot anyway. Center is Toews. He actually, C on an intimidation is 1 to 12. Carcillo is going to take the inside shot. Toews will let it go. That's a 12, which is actually a save and over to Toews. So Toews now with the advanced action card, looking at home 2, opponent defense 6. So Richards with looking at defense 6. Richards will take the puck away. He'll have an outside shot. So he's going to let that outside shot fly. Actually, he could try to penetrate in theory. He'd be trying to penetrate. Actually, it doesn't say he could try to penetrate, so he's actually just going to take the outside shot. He could theoretically make a pass as well, but I'm going to let this one go. On an outside shot, that's an 8. Save and a rebound chance. There's also a deflect notation. That's for super advanced, though. Our rebound is the offensive right wing. So Carcillo now with a rebound shot. That's a 7 on a rebound shot, and that's a goalie rating on Niemi. 8, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. That's a 4, and that's going to deflect out of play for a face-off. So that will come back to the right of Niemi, and I'm going to take a quick drink. Okay. So we still have our top lines on for both teams, which means face-offs are still +2 to Chicago. Split rating is a 4. And that's superior right wing. So that's going over to Kane. And we are off and running here for Kane. Home 2, he'll lose the puck, outside shot only for the left defenseman. So that's over to Carl. He will let the outside shot go. That's an 8 on an outside shot, save and a possible rebound chance. So that's over to the split cards. Offensive right wing, if offense rating 3 or more. Carcillo is a 3, so he's got a rebound shot. Niemi left another juicy rebound out. Let's see if the Blackhawks or the Flyers can take advantage of it. That's a 7 on a rebound. Uh-oh, that's a goalie rating on Niemi. So we're back over to Niemi's card. 8, 9, and 11. That is an 8, and that's in the net. Flyers take a 4-1 lead here in the second period. Fans are not happy with what they see. So that was Carcillo with that goal. That was from Carl. And we'll get an assist. Let's see, any player 9, no. Left wing 5, no. Center 4, yes. That'll be from Carl and Richards. As the Flyers are now opening up a 4-1 lead here in Chicago. They're definitely taking revenge for that inside the crease blowout in that demo game earlier. Our next face-off is an 11, which plus 2, 11, superior any player. So Taze will actually take that one himself. And we are off. Looking at 2 and 2, opponent defense 8. So Richards defense 8. He will take the puck away, but he'll have an outside shot only. Richards is going to have to let that one go. It is explicitly restricted outside shot. That is a 10 on an outside shot. That's a save, and over to the defensive left defenseman. That's over to Keith. Keith with it for the Blackhawks. We're looking at opponent defense 4. We're looking at the right defense. That's Pronger. He'll take the puck away with an inside shot. Keith can try to intimidate. He would be a 1-15 to try to intimidate. He will try to intimidate. That's a 3. Keith will take the puck away. Keith with it once again for the Blackhawks. Looking at passing F this time. Keith on passing F will be an outside shot for the left wing. Brouwer is going to try to make a pass. So the pass for Brouwer against even. Inside shot for the center, or for the right wing. That's over to Kane. Center Richards, he's not going to try to intimidate. Kane has got an inside shot. So let's see what he can do with this one. What he'll do with it is a 7 and a goalie rating on Layton. 7, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. That's a snake eyes, and depending on where it's coming from, we see out, save, and a breakaway 1-13. But because it's in a breakaway, it's a face-off, so it probably got deflected out of play or something. So that's a face-off. We'll say that deflected off a flyer, and it'll come to the left of Layton. So we'll go to the split cards again. We'll see a 16 as our face-off this time, and a 16 is the inferior right wing. So that'll be Carcillo with the puck for the Flyers. Excuse me, and we're off. And we're looking at visitor, lose that to the opponent. So that'll be Brouwer who will take that one away. Brouwer with it for the Blackhawks. And we're looking at lose the puck, outside shot only for the right defenseman. So Pronger with an outside shot. He's going to let that one go probably from the point, I would say. That's a 12. If that was on the power play, that would be a goal 1-11. But because we're not, Niemi's going to cover that one up, and that'll be a face-off. Face-offs are still +2 to Chicago. And a 2 is almost certainly going to be a superior win. That'll be a superior right defenseman. So that's over to Seabrook with it for the Blackhawks. Seabrook with it. And we're looking at opponent defense 1. So Carl defense 1. He'll take the puck away with an inside shot. Right defenseman can try to intimidate. Seabrook will try to intimidate. Yep, he's a 1-15. That's a 4. Seabrook will intimidate and take the puck away. And now we've got a forwards line change, so we'll change out our forward lines. These currency sheets honestly might be a little bit of overkill for what I'm trying to do here. I might actually like the business card to lay out a little bit better, or the business card holder lay out a bit better. So we're over to Seabrook now. We're looking at losing to the opponent, so he'll lose that over to Carl. And another action card is going to be an outside shot only for any player. He's going to give that outside shot to... Hartnell's going to take the outside shot. He's got to roll low, though. $10 is not low enough because that's a save, and that's over to defensive right wing, so that's over to Hossa. Hossa with the puck for the Blackhawks, flipping over another action card. We're looking at passing D for Hossa. Passing D is an inside shot for the left wing. Versteeg, Briere is not going to try to intimidate, though he's a B on intimidation. So he's not that good at it, which means Versteeg will let the inside shot go. That's a 7, and that's a goalie rating on Leighton. 8, 9, or 7, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. And that is a 7, and that's in the net. And the Blackhawks desperately needed that one, as Versteeg puts the Blackhawks back within 2. That was from Hossa, and we'll flip a card over for the other assist. Any player, 7, no. Right D 4, Seabrook's a 3, no. Center 2, Sharp with another assist. As it is now 4-2 Flyers. Just going to follow up with my phone real quick here. Just checking on a few things. Okay. All right, so we're back to our face-offs once again. Everybody's back at center ice as now the Blackhawks are trying to get back in this game. So let's see what happens. We are now +2, so now we're looking at even face-offs. That's a 20. That's probably a visitor win. And yep, that is a visitor win. That'll go over to the visiting right wing, so that's over to Briere. And we are off once again. Passing F for the visitor. So passing F, outside shot for the left wings. That's over to Hartnell. Hartnell will try to make a pass. Coming over to the passing. Passing K for Hartnell. Passing K is an inside shot right back to Briere. So Briere with that puck, he's going to let an inside shot go. That's a 10 on an inside shot. That's a save, and over to the defensive right defenseman. That is Seabrook. Seabrook with it for the Blackhawks. And he will look at opponent defense 9. So Carl, defense 9. Carl will take the puck away, have an outside shot only. So he's going to let that one go. That's an 8. That's a save and a rebound. Defensive center, if defense rating 2 or more, Sharp is a 4, so he will have control of the puck, and we will have a defensive line change. So we'll flip our defensive pairings over, and then we'll be back off again. Sharp with the puck for the Blackhawks, looking at lose the puck, outside shot for any player. Flyers are going to give that outside shot to... they're going to give it to Carter. Sharp is going to try to intimidate. So we'll find a split number. Intimidation 6. Sharp will take it away. Sharp with it for the Blackhawks now. And that's opponent defense 5. Carter will take the puck away, have an outside shot. Carter will attempt to make a pass. And against even, inside shot for Briere. Sharp will try to intimidate because Briere's got a decent inside shot repertoire. So Sharp is going to try to intimidate. That's an 11. Sharp will take the puck away. And we're back to Sharp once again. Lose the puck, outside shot only for the right wing. So Briere with an outside shot. That's a 4 on an outside shot. Save and over to Hossa. Hossa with it for the Blackhawks. Lose the puck, outside shot only for the left wing. That's over to Hartnell with an outside shot. As I keep dropping dice. Go figure. An 8 is a save and a rebound chance. Rebound here is the defensive center if defense rating 3 or more. Sharp is a 4 on defense, so he will have that. So he'll have that. He'll have control of that puck. Then we have a possible breakaway, so we go to the split card and we want a possible breakaway. Right defenseman, Campbell's off to the races, so now we're rolling on his breakaway column. That's a 5. That would be a goalie rating if we were on the power play, but we're not, so Leighton stops that. We have a face-off, but before that we have a forward line change. And I am going to play with the third period. I'm going to play using this method of managing line changes at full speed. So we'll see how this goes before I decide what I want to do with my strat layout going into the 2009-10 season. So now we'll get a face-off rating of a 7 on an even face-off. Excuse me. And that's home left wing. So that'll be over to Ladd with that one. And Ladd with the puck. Actually, we were +2, +1. So +1 to Chicago. 7 on a +1. Superior left wing. So it still goes to Ladd anyway. All right, looking at Ladd. We are looking at passing E. Passing E is going to be an outside shot for Byfuglien. Byfuglien is going to try to make a pass. And passing loose puck, defensive left wing has control. So that's Van Riemsdyk for the Flyers. Flipping this over, we find passing D for Van Riemsdyk. Passing D, lose the puck, outside shot for Ladd. He will let that one go. That's an 11. Saving over to any player. The Flyers will give that to Timonen. Timonen with it now for the Flyers. Visitor 2, opponent defense 9. Hjalmarsson, defense 9. He'll take the puck away with an outside shot only. Hjalmarsson is going to let that one go from the point. That's a 7. He'll lose that over to Coburn. Coburn with it for the Flyers now. And opponent defense 9, looking at Campbell 9. He'll take the puck away, have an outside shot only. So Campbell's going to let this one go. That's a 10. He'll lose that back to Timonen. Timonen with it for the Flyers. That'll be lose the puck and a possible breakaway. So let's see what happens on our possible breakaway. The right wing, Byfuglien, he's away. He's all alone. He's all alone on Leighton. And a 5. Ooh, Leighton makes a great save on that one because the Blackhawks are not on the power play, so that'll get stopped for a face-off. And we are definitely running out of time here in the second period as we've only got 5 cards left in the action deck. Face-offs are still +1 to Chicago. And a 5 is going to be superior left defenseman. So that's over to Hjalmarsson, and we're off to the races once again. And that'll be opponent defense 2. So Timonen defense 2. That's an inside shot for the... Actually, that is take away the puck. He'll have an inside shot. Campbell will try to intimidate. He's a 1 to 15. That's a 1. Campbell will take the puck away. Campbell with it for the Blackhawks. Passing D for Campbell. That's an inside shot for the center. So that's an inside shot for Madden. Giroux. Giroux's going to let that inside shot go, actually. There's a lot of bad numbers for Madden. He's going to let it go. 7 is not one of them, though. That's a goalie rating on Leighton. 7, 9, and 11 are bad. That is a 7, and Madden has just scored to get the Blackhawks within 1 as the United Center goes crazy. Let's see, that was Madden. We'll get assists. Let's see, any player with a 6, no. Left wing 2, no. Right wing 2, yes. That'll be from Bufflin. And we'll flip over another split deck card. Let's see, right wing, center scored. Left defenseman 3, no. Left wing 1, yes. Ladd. So now a pretty high-scoring game as the Blackhawks have taken this to within 1. In the later stages of the second period. Flipping over a face-off, still +1 to Chicago on face-offs. That's a 15, though. That'll probably be an inferior win, and that will be over to the left wing, so over to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk with it for the Flyers. Visitor, opponent, defense 2. The opponent is right wing, Bufflin, defense 2. He'll take the puck away and have an outside shot with it. And since it's not a restricted outside shot, Bufflin is going to try to make a pass on that. Pass, lose puck, defensive right defenseman has control. So Timonen with it for the Flyers. Looking at the visitor, opponent, defense 5. Hjalmarsson on 5, outside shot for the center. Giroux with an outside shot. He's going to try to make a pass on that. Against even strength, inside shot for any player. So the inside shot, he's actually going to take that himself on an inside shot. Giroux trying to widen the lead here for the Flyers. An 8, that's a save and a rebound chance. Rebound chance for Giroux, or for the Flyers. Defense, any player. The Blackhawks will give that to Hjalmarsson, and we'll have our last play of the period coming up right here. Lose that to the opponent, so Timonen takes that puck. There's the horn to end the second period, and suddenly we've got a game of it as the Blackhawks have now cut the lead to 4-3. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a little bit of demo hockey for Strat-O-Matic. Just knocking out both of my demo games here tonight. And the third period of this game, we are going to play advanced, but I'm going to play it at full speed because I kind of want to let my rhythm go, and I want to see how these card pages work at full speed. I'm not completely sold on them even at a slower speed, so we'll see what I think of them at full speed. I may be kind of leaning toward sticking with the business card holder layout, but I don't know yet. Because I think this ended up being a little bit bulkier than I was expecting it to. And I'm not sure how warm I am about that. So we're just giving the split deck a shuffle. And we'll walk through building the action deck one more time. But I'm going to play, but like I said, I'm going to play the third period at full speed because I want to see how these work at how these card pages work at full speed. So I'm just giving the action deck a shuffle now. And in case you're wondering how I got the split cards and the advanced action cards sleeved, well, actually all of the action cards sleeved, the basic action cards actually fit into normal American size sleeves pretty easily, the yellow ones from GameGenic. As for the split and advanced action cards, those were a little bit harder to do. What I had to do with those was I took just a couple of millimeters off of one of the sides. I think I took them off the left side in most cases, but after I took that very little bit off, they actually fit into tarot sleeves as easy as you please. There is a little bit of overhang on the action cards, but it's actually not that bad. So hopefully I can rip through this third period at a fairly quick pace so I can set up tomorrow's stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Action deck is ready to go. The one thing I will slow down is the power play, because since we didn't have any penalties in the second period, that actually stayed relatively clean. So face-offs now are +2 to Chicago, as the Blackhawks are looking to tie this game. A 14 on the face-off is inferior any player, so that'll go over to Pronger, and we're off. Lose the puck, outside shot only for the right wing. So Kane with an outside shot. He's going to have to let that one go because it's restricted as an outside shot. That's a 5. That's a save, and over to Gagner. Gagner with it, and he will look at passing F. That's an outside shot for the center. So over to Richards. He will actually try to make a pass. Passing K is going to be an inside shot for Gagner. Gagner lets the inside shot go. He gets into the slot. That's a 3. That's a goal on a 1-12. And that is an 11 score. Simon Gagner extends the Flyers' lead 5-3. That was from Richards, and we'll flip over to get an assist. Richards, Gagner scored, and Carl will pick up the other assist. And the Flyers lead 5-3. As we come back to center ice for the face-off. 17 sounds like an inferior win. And that will be a left defenseman, so Carl with that puck for the Flyers, and we're off again. Lose the puck, possible breakaway. Right defenseman, if the penetration rating is 2, and Seabrook is a 2, so he's away on Layton all alone. And the shot here on a breakaway, 7, that's a goalie rating on Layton. Once again, 7, 9, and 11 are your bad numbers. That's a 5, save made by Layton as he stuffs the breakaway. And Gagner is there to pick up the rebound. Gagner with it, opponent defense 8. Kane's defense 8 is an outside shot for Richards. Richards will try to make a pass on that. Actually, hold on, opponent defense 8. Actually, Kane takes the puck away. He's got an outside shot only. Kane lets that one go. He gains the zone and takes the shot. That's an 8. That's a rebound chance. Offense, any player with an offense rating of 4. We've got plenty of them. Kane will follow his own rebound to the net. 6 is a goalie rating on Layton. 6 again, another rebound. Offensive right defenseman if offense rating 2 or more. 𝐕𝐲𝐵𝐿𝐼 is a 3. 𝐕𝐲𝐵𝐿𝐼 with the rebound. That's a 10. Save made by Layton and over to 𝐈𝐨𝐵𝐿𝐼 to stop the offensive pressure. Lose the puck, outside shot only for Keith, for the left defenseman. Keith with it now, he'll have an outside shot. Taking it from the point. That's a 7. Save and over to Pronger. Pronger with it, opponent defense 3. Looking at Keith's defense 3, he'll take the puck away with an inside shot. Pronger's not going to try to intimidate. Keith's not very good with an inside shot. Keith's going to let that one go. That's a 5. Save made by Layton over to 𝐈𝐨𝐵𝐿𝐼. 𝐈𝐨𝐵𝐿𝐼 with it now. He'll lose that over to the opponent. He'll lose that over to Kane. Kane with it. Possible breakaway. Right wing. Kane's away. He's alone in on Layton. That's a 6. That's a goalie rating on Layton. That's a 10. Save made by Layton, and that'll come over out to Carcillo. Carcillo with it. Passing 𝐸. He'll lose the puck. Outside shot for Toews. Toews is going to let that one go from the point. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on Layton. That's a 5. Save made, and that's over to Richards. Richards with it now. Passing F for Richards. Outside shot for Carcillo. Carcillo will try to make a pass. Passing K. He will lose the puck over to the center, but we've got a forwards line change. So that is with the center. Sharp with it now for the Blackhawks. Opponent defense 10. Carter with a penalty. So now we'll slow it down and we'll see how... That's a Philly penalty. We'll call that holding on Carter. So now we'll flip over 3 action cards. We only flip over 2 in the basic game, but we do the power play much the same. We do the power play the exact same way other than that in the advanced game. So 16, if they're all 4 rated defense players, which they are not. So there are no shots on the power play. And now we start with a new face-off, which face-offs are even. A 12 seems like a visitor win. Yep, that'll be visitor any player. So that'll go over to Carter. And we're off with that one. Opponent defense 1. Sharp inside shot for Briere. Left defenseman is Keith. He will try to intimidate. 1 to 15. Takes the puck away. Possible penalty. We need to get a split number. So his penalty is a D. That's a 19. Keith will have a penalty as well. So he's going to go off for roughing. We'll have a defensive line change, and then we'll resolve the power play for the Flyers. Flipping over 3 cards once again. 2, 3. Power play this time is a 6. And we're checking the right defense to see what his defensive rating is. Campbell is a 2. So we have an inside shot for... So we have an inside shot for the left wing. So that'll be over to Hartnell on an inside shot first. That's an 8. That's a save and a rebound chance. Rebound is the offensive left defenseman. He will have a rebound. That's a 9. That's a goalie rating on 𝐈𝐴𝐵𝐿𝐼. 8, 9, and 11 are bad. That's an 8, and score. Hartnell puts the Flyers up 6 to 3 on the power play. That was from... Who was that from? Inside shot for the left wing. Actually, we'll just flip over 2 assist cards since I can't really follow the flow of the game. Any player 9, no. Briere 3, he will get an assist. And right defenseman 4, Timonen will have another assist as well. And the Flyers lead 6-3. So it looks like each team is going to take one in this pair of demo games. Face-offs are even. 15 sounds like a visitor win. That is a visitor win, and Hartnell's already got it, so he will start us off with the puck. Visitor 2, lose the puck, inside shot for any player. The Blackhawks are going to give that to... They're going to give that to Hossa, and Hartnell's not going to try to intimidate, not with the Flyers up by 3. That's a 3. That's a goal on a 1-14, though. That's a 20, so that's going to get stopped instead for a face-off, as we'll take that to the right of Leighton. Flipping over to get a new face-off. Face-offs are still even. 3 is home left wing, so that'll be over to Versteeg, and we are off. Lose the puck, outside shot only for the center. Carter with an outside shot. That's a 5 on an outside shot. Save, and back over to Hossa. Actually, we've got a forwards line change. Oop. As the Blackhawks logo goes flying, but that'll be Byfuglien with the puck once we get the line change sorted out. Now that that's done, Byfuglien with the puck. Lose the puck, outside shot only for the right wing. Asham with an outside shot. That's a 10 on an outside shot. That's a goalie rating on Niemi. That's an 11. Goal on a 1-17 on a split card. That's a 2. Score! Aaron Asham as the Flyers continue to pour it on. And the score is now 7-3 in favor of the Flyers. We'll get an assist rating. Any player with a 6, no. Center, that'll be Giroux with an assist. And, let's see, any player, no. Right wing scored. Goalie, no. Left wing, Van Riemsdyk. And we are going to see the hook for Niemi here, as the Blackhawks are going to bring Cristobal Huet in to get him a little bit of play time. Even though the game is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This game is very much nearing its end. This has been pretty much all Flyers. We'll get our face-off here as we're +1 to Chicago once again. Blackhawks are going to try to open up the offense a little bit, which will change the section of the card that they're referring to when they're on offense. Flyers are going to try to tighten it up here, because they want to make sure nothing goes haywire on their end. We'll get a face-off as it's +1 to Chicago. 13. Sounds like an inferior win, though. Yep, that'll be inferior left defense. That'll be over to Coburn. Now we're checking for offense 3 and 3-4 checkers. Lose the puck, inside shot for any player. Blackhawks are going to give that inside shot to Ladd. The opponent is Asham. He's not going to try to intimidate. Flyers are up 4 anyway. That's an 8. That's a save and a rebound chance. Defensive right wing if defense rating 2 or more. Asham is a 1, so Ladd has a rebound shot. Ladd follows his own rebound to the net. That's a 7. That's a goalie rating on Leighton. That's a 10. Save made by Leighton, and that'll go over to Asham. Asham with it, looking at 3 and 2. So 2-4 checkers, offense 3. Lose the puck on a possible breakaway. Right wing center, if the breakaway penetration rating is 4, Byfuglien is a 4. He's away on a breakaway. That's a 5. That would be a goalie rating if the Blackhawks were on the power play, but they're not. So Leighton's going to stop that one and cover it up for the faceoff. Faceoffs are still +1 to Chicago. 12 is going to be superior any player. So they'll give that over to Campbell, and we're off. Let's see, 3 forecheckers, 3 inside shot for the left defenseman. That's over to Hjalmarsson. Right defenseman could try to intimidate. Timonen is going to let that one go on an inside shot. Again, Flyers are up 4. They don't need anything crazy here. 6, that'll be lost over to Timonen. Timonen looking at 3 and 2. So 2, 3. He'll lose that over to Hjalmarsson. Hjalmarsson with it. Let's see. 3 forecheckers for the Flyers. Offense 3. He'll lose that back to Timonen. And 2 forecheckers. Offense 3. Opponent defense 1. Hjalmarsson will take the puck away with an inside shot. Giroux will try to intimidate. Actually, Giroux's not going to try to intimidate. Inside shot for Hjalmarsson. That's a 7. He'll lose that over to Giroux. Giroux with it for the Flyers. Let's see, looking at 3 offense and 2 forecheckers. Opponent defense 8. Madden 8. Madden will take the puck away with an outside shot only. Madden's going to let this one go. That's a 6. Save and over to Van Riemsdyk. Van Riemsdyk with it, visitor, offense 3 against 2 forecheckers. Passing B for Van Riemsdyk. That's an inside shot for Asham. Left defenseman is Hjalmarsson. He's going to try to intimidate. He'll take the puck away, but a possible penalty. So we've got to get a split number, no penalty for Hjalmarsson. Let's see, opponent, so offense 3 against 3 forecheckers. Inside shot for any player. He'll give that to Byfuglien. Van Riemsdyk is not going to try to intimidate. Byfuglien will take the inside shot. That's a 12. That's a goalie rating on Leighton. 7. That's in. Byfuglien will put that one in at the buzzer, and the Blackhawks will not come out of this. Well, Blackhawks were basically humiliated in this one. So that was from Hjalmarsson. And we'll get a second assist. Any player 7? No. Byfuglien scored. Campbell. But even as the Blackhawks celebrate, there's the goal horn to end the game. And the Philadelphia Flyers win this one by a final score of 7-4. And that wraps up Hockey Demo Saturday, as it turned out, on the channel. So now that everything's been demoed, we should be ready to go for the 2009-10 hockey season replay that's going to start on the first Wednesday of July, July 2nd. So that'll do it for Hockey Demo Weekend. As soon as I get this torn down, I'm going to be setting up tomorrow morning's video, as we will be playing Storm of Steel Ju-87 Stuka from Compass Games. We'll have some afternoon games, but I haven't decided exactly what those are going to be yet. As for Mystical Munchies, next week we will conclude that out of the World of Warcraft New Flavors of Azeroth cookbook, as we will be making the dessert, Balara's Nutter Bar. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone. The Philadelphia Flyers salvage a demo game split with the Chicago Blackhawks as they win the Strat-O-Matic Hockey Demo Game by a final score of 7-4. Once again, take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning.